Good morning everybody, I'm Claire. This is my vlog, Loves Red Sews. So slightly different view for you this morning. I am out with Ralph. I don't know if I can show you where he is. There he is, running off down the canal path. So I am out early this morning. My husband's actually got an electrician at home who's come early to fit a light in his office, so I thought I would bring Ralph out early, and I have just come out for a walk along the canal. It's lovely and quiet and serene, and I'm heading off to Harrogate today. So I've got today and tomorrow off work, and I'm heading off with my mum, driving up there, and then we're staying 2 nights, and we've got tickets to the show for tomorrow, which is Friday. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've never been to the Harrogate show before, so I'm going to bring you along with me this weekend as much as I can, and then I think my vlog will be out slightly later on Sunday, and I will catch you up on everything that has happened over the weekend. So I'm going to sign off now because there's somebody walking towards me, and I shall see you again soon. As you can probably tell, it's really cold outside today, so I've got my big coat out, scarf, hat, kind of glove things. My mum crocheted me these, or knitted them last year. So yeah, it's really cold, so I've definitely wrapped up warm, and actually I don't feel too bad now. I've got all of this on. But yeah, I think it's probably only a couple of degrees. Sorry if the camera's jiggling around a little bit. I'm trying to hold it still. I'm actually wearing today my new shirt that I made, which is the Bellbird button up, and can't really see it. I'll show you a proper picture later, but I've got some Jazz and Wow earrings on, and also a sparkly star necklace from Jazz and Wow as well. So I shall show you, or drop in a picture of my outfit. I've just paired it with some ready to wear black jeans, and I've got a pair of black boots that I'm gonna kind of basically wear all weekend with all of my outfits, because it just makes it easier than just bringing one pair of shoes. Who even am I? Anyway, I'm gonna head off, and I shall catch up with you again later. Hi everybody! So I am Claire, and this is my vlog, Loves Red Sews. Welcome back if you are an existing subscriber, and welcome if you are new. So today I am talking to you all about my trip to Harrogate. So you will have seen in the start of the video that I was heading off on Thursday, and I just filmed a very short kind of intro. And today is Sunday, I'm back home. So I was in Harrogate from Thursday through to Saturday, and I had tickets for the Knit and Stitch show on Friday. And then I also did a little bit in Harrogate while I was there as well. So I thought I would talk you through my weekend and let you know what I've been up to, and then also share what I bought at the show. Plus I do have a little bit of a fabric haul to share with you at the end of the video as well. And they are fabrics that I had previously ordered before I went to the show, and they arrived over the weekend, so I've also got those to share with you as well. So I hope you enjoy this video, and yeah, sit back, relax and enjoy. So we set off on Thursday, and when I say we, that is my mum and I. We decided to go to Harrogate this year because normally we go to the Alexandra Palace knitting and stitching show, but this year I couldn't make that because it was on the weekend where the day I came back from my trip to Malta, so I was unable to make that particular show this year. So we thought, why don't we give the Harrogate show a go instead? Neither of us have ever been before, so we thought it's the perfect opportunity to book in for that. So we actually booked a Airbnb It was a private sort of apartment. The owner also lived there, and she was renting out a room, and it was a twin room, so it was perfect for my mum and I. And we also had our own bathroom, so that was really nice. And it was when I looked online, I found it was kind of like it said it was 5 to 10 minute walk to the convention centre, and that was completely accurate. It was in a really nice area away from, just outside of the town. When I say it was kind of in the town, but it was just slightly out of the main sort of thoroughfare, and it was a really nice quiet location, but it was literally 5 minute walk to the convention centre. So when we left the apartment, we kind of walked down the hill, and we could see the convention centre in front of us, so it was absolutely perfect for what we needed. The apartment itself was absolutely beautiful. It was spotlessly clean. The lady that owned it, she is an older lady, and she also lives in the property, and she was so lovely. She was really welcoming. She told us to kind of make ourselves at home, not to feel awkward with her being there as well, and you know, just to treat the apartment as our own. And yeah, she really did make us feel welcome. So I will pop a couple of pictures in so that you can see the space that we had. But our room was a fairly good size, to be honest. It was 2 single beds, and it was perfect just for what we needed. We had plenty of kind of wardrobe storage space. Not that we took loads of garments, because we were only there for 2 nights. I deliberately didn't overpack, so I deliberately just took the outfit that I travelled in, the outfit that I wanted to wear on Friday, and then my travel home outfit, but I didn't take anything extra. So I literally just had the garments that I was going to be wearing, and that was it. So we arrived on the Thursday, we got checked in, and then we headed out and had a little wander, and we just kind of got our bearings. We took a walk down to the main sort of high street area, and I can't remember the name of the street, but by that point we needed to get some lunch, so we ended up stopping into All Bar One. Unfortunately, we had quite a long wait for our food, and I think we ended up waiting over an hour, so our lunch was quite late in the end. I think around about two-ish or so, something like that. Possibly getting on for 3, and as a result, the bar staff were really nice and really accommodating, and without even asking, they gave us 50% back of our food, of the cost of our food, which was that was a really nice thing for them to do. So that made it quite a reasonable lunch. Then we walked up and found a M&S, and we popped in there and picked up some lunch for Friday to take into the show with us, because we thought that would be easier when we're walking around the show. We could stop and just, you know, have our lunch already with us. So we did that, and then we headed back to the apartment a little bit later, and I had a HelloFresh box left over, and I cooked us dinner in the apartment on the Thursday evening, which was really nice. We had a fish dish, and then we spent the evening just kind of chilling. I took a cross stitch and my mum took some knitting, and we sat in the lounge with the TV and with the owner, and we just kind of had a nice chilled evening all together. So that was really nice. And then Friday was the knitting and stitching show, so we got ourselves up and out, and we arrived at the show just before 10 o'clock. So there was already a queue of people at the door, and then we were trying to work out which entrance we needed to go in, because obviously we already had tickets. And then a security guard said to me that if you walk a bit further down towards the back of the building, there is another entrance there, and there was no queue. So we decided to do that. So we walked down there. It was literally like a minute or two. And then we walked straight in the door. There was absolutely no queue, and it was the end where all of the workshops were. There was a cloakroom as soon as we walked in, so we put our coats straight in, and then we were straight into the show. So it was absolutely perfect. We didn't have to queue at all. And yeah, so we arrived, I would say, sort of pretty much dead on 10, and then we spent the next few hours walking around the show. So as we'd not been before, we didn't really know what to expect. We didn't know if it would be in one big room, but it turns out it's in about 3 or 4 separate sort of rooms. They are all interconnecting, and yeah, there's a lot there to see. So we did spend quite a lot of time kind of walking around all the stalls. We both had a little bit of a list of things that we wanted to look for. I didn't get everything on my list, and I got quite a few bits and pieces additional to what was on my list, but I did manage to tick a few things off my list, which was really good, things that I've been looking for a little while, so I'm quite pleased about that. And yeah, we just had a really good time. We took our time, I think, because we didn't have the pressure of having to travel home, kind of, you know, jumping on trains or driving a couple of hours to get home. It kind of took away that pressure, so we knew that we could maximise our time at the show, really. So yeah, that felt really nice, actually. And we knew, because we were a short walk away, you know, we could stay as long as we want. So we actually ended up staying in the show until about 3:30. So we had pretty much kind of maxed out our shopping. We both had bought quite a bit, and I think we'd pretty much seen, or we thought we'd seen, everything, and we were sort of ready to go. We kind of stumbled across the Royal Hall, and we didn't even realise that was kind of part of the exhibition centre. And when we walked in, we were quite wowed by the space, and they turned it into a kind of an area where you could sit and have a hot drink or something to eat. We had already had our lunch at that point. This was probably a bit later, maybe 2:30-ish, 2:30, 2:45, that kind of time. So we stopped for a hot drink, and we enjoyed the atmosphere of the theatre. Is kind of like very old-fashioned theatre, and it's absolutely beautiful, really well preserved. So we enjoyed having our cup of tea sitting in there. And then we just did a couple of other stalls that we wanted to go back to before we kind of headed out of the show. So yeah, we had a really, really enjoyable day. Hopefully I have popped a few little pictures in here as we've gone. I think the hall that we started off in didn't have any of the fabric stalls and stuff in, so there was a lot of, it kind of felt like the stalls were sort of concentrated together in a way. So in one of the rooms there was predominantly, I would say, more quilting type stuff, and then in the room where you've had the likes of Higgs and Higgs, Rainbow Fabrics, Stitch Fabrics, who are also known as M. Rosenberg, Roy's Material World, they were all in the same room. And then you had some kind of yarn, a little bit more yarn in another room, and then you had a few other crafts kind of dotted in between them all. When we left, and sort of that evening, I realised that Ethel and Joan were at the show, and we hadn't seen them, and I did actually have Ethel and Joan buttons on my list, and I just assumed they weren't at the show because we hadn't seen them, but it turns out there was a whole nother room that we'd completely missed. I did go through the list of exhibitors, and there wasn't too many exhibitors in there that we were either familiar with or that we had particularly wanted to visit, but Ethel and Joan were one of them, and I didn't realise that they were there, so I was a little bit gutted about that. I believe they were also in the same area, a little bit down from where some of the quilts were. Now, we thought we'd seen some of the quilting type stuff, because the first room that we walked through, there were some students displaying some sort of quilted creations that they made, and we had a chat to a couple of those. And their work was absolutely stunning. There was one particular lady that stood out for me, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I do have her details. I will pop it along here. But her sort of, she was really creative. She doesn't just make quilts, she makes a few different things. But just hearing her story and her ideas behind why she creates the things that she does, it was actually quite emotional. I felt at one moment I kind of felt a little bit emotional, just what she was describing. So she has some beautiful work. I would highly recommend going to have a look at her work. But yeah, that was really nice, but we kind of missed some of the quilts and stuff, so I don't quite know how we did that. I thought we'd gone into every room, but clearly we hadn't. We missed one room, so I think if we go again, we'll definitely remember that for next time. So yeah, I was a little bit gutted about that, but there was nothing we could do about it. We had already left the show, and the show had already ended when we found that out, so we couldn't even kind of pop back in or anything, unfortunately. But it's one of those things. I spent enough money as it is, so my bank balance may thank me for not going back in anyway. So but yeah, overall we had a really brilliant weekend. So on the Friday night we had actually booked a meal out, and we had a couple of recommendations, and we decided on a place called the Fat Badger. So it is a kind of predominantly a pub based kind of restaurant, but it's a little bit more elevated. I would say it's not possibly not quite fine dining, but it's definitely a little bit more on the expensive side than just pub grub, and their restaurant is kind of separate to the main pub area, and it has a really nice ambience. The lights are quite dimmed, it has beautiful decor, and yeah, we were really glad to have booked a meal there. So we sort of had our meal. I think our meal was booked for about 6:45, so not too late. And I decided to have a steak, so I had a ribeye steak, and my mum went for the burger. We didn't feel that we needed a starter, so we just wanted to go straight in for the main. I'll pop a picture in of my dinner. It was absolutely delicious. I would highly recommend that restaurant. And then we were thinking we might go for a pudding, because I am lactose free and gluten free, and there was a pudding on the menu that would have suited me, but unfortunately my main meal defeated me and I did not have any more room for pudding. So yeah, that was a little bit of a shame that I couldn't quite manage to have a pudding, but the main meal was absolutely beautiful. And then we were sort of back at the apartment at a fairly reasonable time, and then we kind of just chilled with the owner again in her lounge, watched a little bit of TV before we headed to bed. The following morning we got up and we had to check out by 11. I think we were sort of done by around about 9:30, 10. So we kind of checked out, packed up the car, and then we headed into the town, and we decided to do the free walking tour of Harrogate, which started at 10:30, and that was for an hour and 20 minutes, and it was really enjoyable. So if you get a chance to do it, I would highly recommend. I think he does it about 3 times a week during the week, and then at the weekend it's at 10:30 and at 12, and the meeting point is at the War Memorial right opposite Betty's. So it's really easy to find, and the tour guide, Harry, he makes the tour really interesting. He's very enthusiastic. And yeah, we just found out a little bit more about the town than we would have known previously. So that was really nice. The time of the walking tour went really quickly. And before we knew it, the tour was over. And then we were sort of heading back to the car. So we did pick up a little bit of lunch and went back to the car, sat and ate that quickly, and then we were heading home. So we got home about 3:30, something like that, 3:30, 4 yesterday, and I was absolutely shattered. I may still look a little bit tired today. I still feel quite tired. I had a really good sleep last night, and I didn't actually wake up until 7:30 this morning, which is quite unlike me. I normally wake up a couple of times in the night, quite often around 4, and I generally wake up around 6 and don't tend to sleep too much later after that. So I obviously needed that little bit of sleep. So I've had a sort of a quietish morning today, I would say, and now obviously I've been out for a walk, taken Ralph out for a walk this morning along the canal. Husband's just cooking us some breakfast. It's almost lunchtime, so it's kind of going to be a lunch, but he's cooking us a cooked breakfast, which I haven't had in a long time. So that's a nice little treat for today. So I thought I would share with you what I picked up at the show on Friday. So first of all, I will share with you some of the little bits and pieces. Then I will share with you the fabrics and like when I say the little bits and pieces, like kind of haberdashery type bits and pieces. the fabrics that I bought, which I didn't buy a huge amount of fabric. There was particular fabrics I was looking for, and then I do have some fabrics to share with you that have turned up over the weekend while I was away, so I hope you enjoy seeing my haul. So first of all, with the little bits and pieces I picked up, and I really can't remember the name of the shop now, but they are always at the shows. They do lots of kind of bag making stuff. They do lots of kind of fat quarters. They normally have quite a big stand. They have lots of like zips, like zippers that you can buy per meter and all of that kind of stuff. I just picked up some zipper pulls, and they're in a little bag here. I've just got 4 of them, and I've got a tree, like a tree of life style one. Now, when I got married, my sort of theme for the wedding was the tree of life. So I really liked that little tree. I don't know if you can see it very well in the bag. I will pop a picture in up here, a better picture of the ones I got. I got a little paw print one. I got a leaf style one, which is there. That's in a kind of bronzy colour, and then the other one is a scissors and thread. So I thought they were just a little bit different, so I picked those up just to go into my stash. I love that kind of rainbow, that kind of rainbow sort of theme of the metal. I picked up a couple of little wooden buttons from one of the stalls. It was the same stall that did my sewing room cross stitch that I previously shared on another vlog. They have some beautiful cross stitches, but I did end up buying 2 cross stitch at the show, and I didn't want to buy another one. They had a couple there that I really liked, and I can't remember the name of them, of the shop, unfortunately, but I've kind of taken a picture of the ones that I liked, and I thought maybe at a later date I can pick those up. But I do have a couple of cross stitches on the go and a couple that were picked up at the show. So, but I just picked up these little wooden buttons. Whoops. One of them just says handmade, and the other one says made with love, because I thought they might be quite nice if I make a little gift for somebody, just to attach those. So I just picked up those. And from the same store, I also picked up this little pair of scissors. So I loved the colours on this little stalk scissors, and then you could buy this little holder for it as well. And I thought that was really cute. It's good for kind of putting in with cross stitch or travelling with or things like that. So yeah, I picked those up as well. I picked up a needle minder, and this is a Kate Blanford one. Kate wasn't at the show, but there was another store whose name escapes me now, but she was selling the needle minders on Kate Blanford's behalf. But as you can see, this one is very sparkly. It's the poppy design, and I couldn't resist this red sparkly colour. So yeah, that one came home with me. And then a trip to the show is not the same unless you've been to Barn Yarns. So I did actually have jersey needles on my list. I don't have any, I've run out. I didn't particularly need any other needles, so I bought 3 packs of those, and I think they were on an offer if you buy more than 1 pack. So I got 170 size needles, and the other 2 are 80s. So these will probably be good for the cotton jerseys, and then this will be better for the viscose jerseys. But yeah, I've stocked up on my jersey needles, so they were good. And then me and my mum saw this stall that was selling zipper jigs. Now, I have been after a zipper jig for quite a while actually, and hadn't purchased one, and they had them in all sorts of colours. So this was just the leaflet from their stall. They had all sorts of colours. I'll pop a picture in up here. They also had some templates for zips, installing zips. I didn't purchase any of those, but I did buy a zipper jig, and I decided to go for, oh, it's upside down actually, but I decided to go for this one. So it clips onto the side of your desk, so it would kind of go on here, and then that means then your hands are free, and then you can insert your zipper pull onto your continuous zipper, without all of the sort of faff and worry about trying to get it on. And yeah, I'm looking forward to giving that a go. I just need to have a look for a little YouTube tutorial video on exactly how to do it so that I make sure I get that right. So maybe when I do that, I might share that in a future video. But of course I had to go for the red. So there was that. And then we went to a store called Eliphas. So they're based in Cheshire, and they do a lot of kind of bag making stuff, a lot of fat quarters and things like that. And I just decided to pick up a couple of webbings that I haven't seen before. So I got this beautiful kind of floral one, which has really nice colours in, and it's black background with these colours. And then I also got this rainbow one, and this is actually for a particular project, and I wouldn't normally necessarily have a bag strap like this, but when you see the projects that I'm planning with it, you'll realise what that is for, so I will share that shortly. So I was after some fusible interfacing, and I found some quite reasonably priced on one of the stores, and I think they're called the Fabric Townhouse. I'd not heard of them before, but I think they predominantly do kind of quilting type fabric, that sort of thing. But they had some really lovely stuff on their stall, and they were I'm not sure if they were husband and wife, but there was a lady and a man on the stall, and they were absolutely lovely. They were really, really nice. And I purchased some fusible wadding from them, 2 meters. I would like to keep this in my stash, and I also have a plan for a couple more of the plover pouches, so I know this will definitely come in handy. This was on my list, so I picked up that from them. And then I also picked up a couple of they're not even fat quarters, they're kind of half meters, but this is to actually make myself a plover pouch. So I bought this one first of all, and you can see the name of the company on here, so it says the Fabric Townhouse, and as you can see, this one is quite shimmery, and I thought this would just make a wonderful plover pouch. It's a quilting cotton. It's actually a Lewis and Irene, and this particular design, I think it's a bubble design. They had it in a kind of a matte version without the shimmer on it, or they had this shimmer version, and they had all different colours, but of course I had to go for the red. And then I picked out a matching plain to go with it for the contrast. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to making myself a plover pouch in those. So that was that. And I also picked up some mesh fabric from one of the stores. So they were doing an offer, 3 for £18. So my mum picked up a couple, and I picked up this one, so we kind of split the cost of that. And this will be handy for my plover pouch, but also for another project that I'm planning, which is the Maker's Caddy by Adam Sews. So I think this will also go really well with that. So they are those bits. And then I went to the which store was it? I can't remember the name now. My mind has gone. Oh, the Quilted Bear, that's it. So I picked up one of these. I have got a rotary cutter, but I wanted a smaller one, and that is purely for these kind of smaller projects, and I think it would be sort of easier using a smaller rotary cutter for that. So I picked up this, which was fairly reasonable, and some blades to go with it. And then I also picked up a small kind of quilting ruler. I do have quite a large ruler, and I thought a smaller one would be better for these kind of smaller projects, so I also picked up that. So they were from the Quilted Bear. And then I got, and again I can't remember the name of this store, I didn't take a note of it unfortunately, but I picked up this fabric here. So this is the fabric that I'm going to plan to make my Adam Sews caddy from. So I think the main fabric will be this, and then the lining, I have a red lining with stars all over it, which would be perfect and will match perfectly with this. I also picked up, so this is a 2 meter remnant and this is a 1 meter remnant, so I thought this also went quite well. Obviously the red mesh I think goes quite well as well, and that will also match in with the red lining. And then I have a fat quarter remnant, which is quite colourful with sewing tools all over it, and I thought that would be great for the outside pockets and would kind of pair quite well with this. So it's going to be quite a colourful kind of maker's caddy, but I thought that would all go quite well. So that is the reason why I also bought this webbing, because I thought that would also go quite well with it all. So yeah, I think I'm going to end up with quite a colourful caddy, but yeah, it'll be quite fun to have, I think. So I also picked up a cross stitch. Now this is a Christmassy one and I couldn't resist this one. I love the colours in it. I actually don't think I'm going to get time to do this for this Christmas, unfortunately, but I kind of thought once I've got it I can tuck it away and maybe make a start on that a bit later next year, and maybe do it in time for next Christmas. So as you can see, that was reduced. And that was on the stand, I think it's the Bothy cross stitch stand. And then as a thank you for driving, my mum purchased this one for me. And it's a nice colourful kind of sewing room themed one. So yeah, that was really nice of her to purchase that one for me. So I've ended up with 2 cross stitches, so they will just get tucked away for now until I get a chance to do them. I do have a couple of cross stitches already on the go, but yeah, I just loved how sort of colourful and cute that was with all the sewing room stuff. So yeah, that was really good. And then moving on to kind of fabrics and patterns, I bought one pattern which I had on my list. I had a couple of others, didn't see those. So the one I did buy was this one here, which is the Hazelwood top from Tessuti. It's actually suitable for beginners. It comes in sizes XXS up to XL, and it's a nice kind of jumper. You can see here, I think there's a slightly longer length maybe and a slightly shorter length. You have a couple of different neck options, and it's got a slight swing style at the bottom and a little bit more fitted at the top. So I thought that would be really lovely for the winter period. So I'm looking forward to giving that one a go. And then moving on to fabrics. So I did have my eye on a fabric that I'd seen shared by a couple of the other sewing sort of vloggers. I think Charlene from So Dressmaking, Jen Legg had both shared it. And it was a fabric from Stitch Fabrics that was kind of like a brown burgundy colour, and it had lime green flowers in it, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was a silk, and so I wanted to have a look at that. I found it at the show, and unfortunately it was a little bit out of my price range at £45 a metre. So I was a little bit gutted about that, because I knew it wouldn't be that cheap being silk, but I didn't realise it was going to be as expensive as that. So unfortunately I had to leave that one behind and not take that one. But I did find an alternative, and it's slightly different colours for me, but these colours are all in my colour palette. Now this one is actually a silk rayon, and it is this one here. So it's got these beautiful kind of browns, autumnal colours, and then you've got these sort of tigers in it here, and I think there's some kind of leopards, and yeah, and a bit of animal print, and there you've got some animal print dotted in between. So I bought 2 meters of this. It was £18 a meter, and I thought that would make an absolutely beautiful blouse. So yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly what blouse I'm going to make with that yet, but yeah, I couldn't resist that, and I think the colours are just beautiful. So I got that one, and then I picked up one fabric from Rainbow Fabrics, which was this one. So they had these on their stall, and I think they were going to release them on Friday evening, which I believe they did, and unfortunately I think this may have already sold out. So I'm quite glad that I managed to get some of this. It's a little bit different for what I would normally have, and I can't remember the name of the brand that he said this is from, but it's absolutely beautiful quality viscose. I bought this to make a blouse, and I bought 2 meters. It was £9 a meter, and as you can see, it's got dragons on it. I think they called it Dragon Celestial or something like that. So it's got sort of celestial type things on it. And I think I'd quite like to possibly make another one of the Bellbird button-ups, and I think that would be beautiful in this, or some kind of a shirt or blouse in this. But I think I'm erring more towards a shirt with that. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I managed to get a piece of that. And then I was on the lookout for some tartan, trouser weight tartan. I've seen quite a few tartan trousers around at the moment, but I was a little bit unsure whether to get kind of a bright red, and I spotted this fabric at David Wells. I sort of had a think about it. I walked away, and then I kind of came back and decided to purchase it, and I ended up going for this colourway. Because I think it's probably a little bit more muted than a bright red, and possibly I'll get a little bit more wear out of it. But this is actually 100% wool. It was, how much was it? What did I pay? I think I paid £32 in total for 2 meters. And it has a black background, and then obviously these colours on it. So you can see the red, there's a little bit of blue there, white, and the yellow. So I think there's plenty of plain colour tops that I can wear with that, and I think I might try and make a pair of Winnie trousers from it, because they are super simple to make, and I'll be able to get them sort of made up fairly quickly, and I think this would look lovely in the Winnie trousers for winter. So yeah, this is 100% wool, but it's very lightweight, it's very soft. It's not scratchy in any way, shape or form. It's definitely more of a trouser weight or a dress weight fabric. So I was really pleased that I managed to pick that particular fabric up. So that was from David Wells Fabrics. And then the other thing that I completely forgot to mention on the Thursday when we arrived is that Lady McElroy have opened up a shop in Harrogate. So they weren't actually at the show, they didn't have a stand at the show, but they've decided to take on a unit in Harrogate, and it's in a little arcade of shops, and Thursday was their first day of opening. So after we had our late lunch, we actually went and found them first and went and had a look in their shop. So he'd spent quite a lot of time getting the shop all set up, ready for opening on Thursday. He was doing a deal on some fabrics, and there was some lovely fabrics there, but nothing that was jumping out that I was thinking I must have that. So I almost didn't buy anything. And then my mum picked up a fabric that she was thinking that she might make a Maeve skirt with, and she wanted to check the length of it. It was actually a remnant. So on Thursday they were selling their fabrics for £12 a metre, everything in the shop, or remnants were £8 a metre. So they had a rail of remnants. She'd picked up this fabric, and turned out it wasn't quite enough for what she needed it for, but I think it is enough for what I would like to make with it, and so I decided to buy it instead. So it's just a needle cord, but it's in this lovely kind of aubergine colour, and I'll just bring it a little bit closer so that you can see. But yeah, it's this lovely kind of aubergine needle cord. I think there was literally like 1.9 meters, so it's absolutely perfect for me. I think I'll probably be able to get a pair of trousers out of it. I haven't quite decided exactly what trousers, but I think it's possibly going to be a pair of trousers. Depending on how I get on with the Faulkner trousers, if they come out well, then I may make another pair in this colour. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I managed to pick that up. So it was, because it was £8 a metre and it was just under 2 metres, it was actually quite reasonable. It was about £15 something. And then I have a couple of new fabrics to share with you that came in, and one of them actually I think will go really well with that. So I decided to purchase a couple of fabrics from Beyond the Pink Door, and I picked up this sweatshirt in. So the background is kind of like a burgundy brown colour, and then it has these lovely kind of autumnal colours, a little bit of brown here, this sort of peach and lilac, and then this aubergine. And as you can see, this also pairs really well with this needle cord. So I'm going to make a sweatshirt in this. I got 1.5 meters. Haven't quite decided exactly which one, but whichever one I make, I think it will pair well with this. And then I also bought a trouser weight fabric to go with this, and it is this lovely brown. So this is a bamboo stretch twill, I believe, and it is absolutely beautiful quality. It's so soft. I think it's going to make a beautiful pair of trousers, and I kind of bought both of these fabrics to go together, so the trousers and then a sweatshirt to go with it. So I think they are going to pair really nicely. And then obviously I also have this to make some trousers with, which will also pair nicely with this. So yeah, I'm really pleased with those two fabrics. I would highly recommend having a look at this particular fabric. Andrea has quite a few colours of this on her website. I will pop the details in the comments below, but I decided to go for the brown, but I know she has quite a few other colours of that as well, so I would highly recommend that. So just a couple more fabrics to share with you. So the first one I've got here is from the Fabric Obsession. So I saw that Adele and Becky had shared this on one of their Friday lives, and I loved the look of it, and I thought this would be absolutely perfect for the festive season. It's a sparkly stretch velvet kind of fabric in this beautiful wine colour, and I think I bought, it was either 2 meters or 1.5 meters. I think they still possibly have this on their website. So it's got all of these sequins kind of woven into it, and the fabric is a little bit textured. It's beautifully soft, and I'm thinking a nice sweatshirt in this would just be absolutely perfect for the festive season. I just love this colour. I think they have it in this colour. They have it in navy or like a dark blue, and I think they might also have it in black, maybe with silver sequins. And I also got a piece of ribbon to match. I don't think I have this kind of colour ribbon in my stash. I think I have more sort of red, so I thought it's worth getting the ribbon to match as well. So yeah, I'm really pleased that's turned up, and it's lovely and sparkly. And then my last purchases were from First for Fabrics. I actually bought some kind of basics from them. The first one I'm going to show you is not so much of a basic. This is a French terry, and it is this one. I had my eye on this a little while ago, but it sold out, and I didn't think I was going to be able to get it, and then it came back into stock. So I bought 1.5 meters of this. So it's a lovely French terry, and again, it will make a lovely sweatshirt. And I think I will just pair it with some red ribbon. I have seen Lynn, who is so Lindy Lou, make up this fabric, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I quite fancied that for myself. I always love a bit of pink and red, and yeah, I think this is just going to make a lovely sort of lightweight sweatshirt. So I just picked up 1.5 meters of that one. Then I've got 3 of the same fabric, and these I got 1.5 meters each of, and they are all a cotton ribbon. So again, I've gone with this kind of aubergine sort of colour. So this is a nice kind of stretchy ribbon, and I just envisaged a nice plain basic with this. Probably a kind of a turtleneck top, something like the True Bias Nico. Don't actually have that pattern. I have the Tilly and the Buttons pattern that is very similar to that, so I might possibly just make that one. But yeah, I've got that colour, and then I bought 1.5 meters of the black, because you can't go wrong with a black version, which will go with everything. And then I got this lovely kind of shade of green. It's kind of a cross between a kind of a khaki green and a moss green, I think, but that I think is a really nice shade of green, and there you can see the rib in it again. So these are just a nice cotton rib, so I bought those 3, and that is everything that I'm going to share with you today. So I hope you have enjoyed hearing all about my weekend and seeing all of my purchases, and I'm going to leave this video exactly as I started it, with a little walk down the canal, and I hope you enjoy seeing that and enjoy seeing Ralph on there, and I shall catch up with you again in my next video. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a good sewing week, and I shall see you again soon. Bye for now. Good morning. So it's Sunday morning and I'm back from Harrogate. So I hope you have enjoyed what I've shared. I didn't actually take that much footage in the end, a few photos and things, but hopefully you've enjoyed seeing what I got up to and what purchases I made. So I'm just ending this vlog the way I started it, actually walking along the canal. So it's a lovely bright sunny day today. Had a really great weekend. So yeah, I'm going to sign off this vlog here. Hopefully it's not too long. We shall see. I'm going to go off and edit this and get this up so that you can see this at some point today. So thank you for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you would give me a like and a thumbs up and comment on whatever else is required these days, and I shall catch up with you again in my next video. So thanks for watching, have a great day and a good week of sewing. Bye for now.